In the corridors of the oldest castles in Great Britain, the walls seem to whisper stories that have never been told to the public. Among the monarchy's deepest mysteries, there is a rumor that has persisted for generations: the existence of a forbidden book hidden in the shadows of history. This alleged artifact would be much more than a simple record. It would be a repository of the darkest secrets of the British royal family, containing truths that, if revealed, could shake not only the royalty but the very idea of power in the West. Welcome to another night where mysteries never sleep. I am Midnight, and this is 7 Nights. Before we continue, I'd like to ask for your help. Like, comment, and subscribe. It may seem small, but it's what keeps this project alive, bringing you stories like this. I'm counting on you. Now, let's dive into this chilling journey. But what is really recorded in this book? Pacts, crimes, or something even more disturbing? As we explore the accounts, theories, and events connected to this mysterious object, one question echoes: why would the existence of a simple book be so dangerous that it must be kept secret at any cost? Princess Diana, beloved by the people and often described as an outsider within the royal family, is central to some of the most unsettling theories about the Forbidden Book. Her entry into the British royal family was filled with glamour, but it only took a few years for it to become evident that Diana did not fit the traditional mold of the monarchy. Some believe that this outsider perspective led her to discover secrets that, until then, remained hidden, including references to the mysterious manuscript. In 1991, while struggling with her marriage to Prince Charles, Diana recorded a series of revealing tapes that were given to journalist Andrew Morton. Diana, with a recorder in her hand and secrets in her head, was practically a royal thriller. She knew that if she wanted to be heard, she had to leave evidence. These tapes led to the famous book Diana, her true story, but theorists claim that the published content was only a fraction of the material. Were there censored details regarding something much bigger? People close to Diana at the time stated that she repeatedly mentioned secrets that would destroy the royal family if they came to light. Diana was also known for her curiosity and for questioning royal protocols. During her marriage, she is said to have requested access to restricted areas in palaces such as Windsor and Buckingham. In a widely speculated episode, Diana supposedly explored the royal family's historical archives, where she found references to the Forbidden Book. This story was reinforced by reports from a Buckingham Palace staff member who claimed to have found Diana in one of the private libraries at an unusual time. What was she looking for? Another intriguing point arose when Diana began publicly voicing her frustrations about the workings of the royal family. In a famous 1995 interview with Martin Bashir, she stated, "There are powers at work in this country about which we have no knowledge." Many interpreted this phrase as her outcry about family conflicts and the media, but theorists see in it a possible reference to what Diana might have discovered about the hidden power protecting the monarchy's legacy. During the same period, Diana showed great interest in conspiracy theories and the occult. During her travels, she acquired various books on secret societies, symbolism, and the history of European monarchies. Was this interest merely a coincidence or part of a larger search for answers? Shortly before her tragic death in 1997, Diana sent a letter to a close friend in which she expressed fear for her own safety. The letter, later made public, contained the following phrase: "My husband is planning an accident with my car." Although this statement is often associated with Diana's marital problems, some believe it was connected to something bigger, perhaps to knowledge of a secret that was never meant to be revealed. There is yet another point that fuels the mystery. After Diana's fatal accident in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, much of her correspondence and personal items were collected by the royal family. Among these items was a diary that, according to sources, contained detailed notes on what she discovered while part of the royal family. Where is this diary now? Why has it never been made public? Diana's accident raised many unanswered questions. Witnesses reported unusual movements in the hospital where she was taken, including the presence of individuals who did not seem to be doctors or journalists. Is it possible that, even after her death, what Diana knew still posed a threat? Additionally, there are rumors that some of her jewelry, inherited by her children, carried encrypted messages left by the princess. Certain historians of the monarchy suggest that the content of the Forbidden Book may be related to a contested line of succession or to secrets that challenge the legitimacy of some royal family members. Diana, always concerned about her children's future, might have tried to warn them in some way. Diana's impact on the world was so great that her death still echoes as an inexplicable tragedy. However, as more information comes to light, the mystery surrounding her discoveries only deepens. Was what she knew connected to the legendary Forbidden Book? What exactly did Diana see, read, or hear that makes her death, to this day, the target of so many theories? Was she a key piece in a larger story, still hidden from the world's eyes? Rumors about the royal family's Forbidden Book date back centuries, and according to the most widespread theories, it was created by order of one of Britain's most enigmatic monarchs, King Henry VIII, in the early 16th century. Ah, Henry VIII. If there were a medieval version of Netflix, he'd be the most watched series, full of drama, marriages, and decisions that changed history. Known for his obsession with absolute power, Henry is said to have commissioned an exclusive manuscript detailing the political and religious pacts that consolidated his dynasty's supremacy. However, some say the book went beyond bureaucratic records. It supposedly contained secrets that could destroy the immaculate image of the British monarchy, including information about hidden alliances and forbidden rituals performed to ensure the dominance of his lineage. The first concrete evidence of the book's existence is believed to have emerged during an inspection by antiquarians at Windsor Castle in the late 18th century. Documents from that time mention a manuscript bound in black leather, locked in a room inaccessible to the public. Why would such a record need to be concealed? Some believe the book's content exposed the connection between the royal family and secret orders such as the Rosicrucians, or even the mysterious Illuminati, which, according to legend, helped Henry consolidate his power in exchange for favors. While Windsor was widely known as the royal family's principal residence, few knew that the castle housed dozens of inaccessible rooms, connected by secret passages. One of these passages, located near the royal library, was said to be the book's supposed hiding place. Curiously, official records mention renovations in that area during Queen Victoria's reign, but nothing about the reasons for the changes. Did they find something during the works? During the 19th century, another intriguing figure entered the story. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, author of Sherlock Holmes and notoriously fascinated by the occult and British history. Records indicate that Doyle visited Windsor at the invitation of a member of the royal family. Some speculate he was summoned to investigate supernatural phenomena allegedly surrounding the location where the book was kept. This visit further fueled rumors about the existence of an artifact linked to forces that defied human understanding. Between the 1920s and 1930s, the mystery deepened. During a party at Windsor Castle, a French guest, supposedly a historian, claimed to have seen guards preventing him from entering a room with a heavy iron door. The incident might have gone unnoticed if not for the historian mentioning that he heard someone inside the room speaking words in Latin, something unusual for a space intended for royalty. Who was there and what were they doing? Suspicions grew even more during World War II, when parts of Windsor Castle were heavily protected against Nazi bombings. Records from the time indicate that the crown's most precious artifacts, including the imperial state crown itself, were taken to underground vaults in the castle. But theorists believe that, in addition to the crown jewels, something even more valuable was hidden: the Forbidden Book. After the war ended, some parts of the castle were restored and reopened to the public, but the room with the heavy iron door was never mentioned again. This raised suspicions that the book was moved to a new location, away from the prying eyes of visitors and researchers. Is there any evidence of its transfer? Perhaps. A former butler who worked at the castle during that period claimed to have seen sealed boxes being transported to Buckingham Palace, but he was quickly dismissed after trying to question their contents. In modern times, Windsor Castle remains shrouded in mystery. Despite its role as a major tourist attraction, there are areas of the castle that have never been accessible to the public. Tour guides often report that they are not authorized to talk about certain parts of the building. Could the book still be hidden somewhere unreachable within these walls? Why is a book supposedly created centuries ago still surrounded by so much mystery? Could it be related to a secret that, if revealed, would endanger the monarchy? For over 7 decades, Queen Elizabeth II reigned over the United Kingdom with a reserved posture and unwavering dedication to tradition. Yet, this impeccable public figure also carried with her the weight of secrets never disclosed. Among the rumors surrounding the monarchy is a theory that directly connects Elizabeth to the Forbidden Book. As the longest reigning monarch in British history, she would have been the most trusted guardian of this mysterious artifact, responsible for keeping its contents protected from prying eyes. The first indications that the Queen was aware of the book's existence supposedly appeared right after her coronation in 1953. During the coronation ritual at Westminster Abbey, one of the most solemn moments was her anointing with holy oil, conducted away from the cameras. Theorists believe that this ceremony is more than a religious tradition. It is a symbolic rite that includes a vow to protect the historical secrets of the crown, including the supposed forbidden manuscript. The royal archives, located in Buckingham Palace, are among the most restricted areas of the monarchy. Very few have direct access to the documents stored there, and Elizabeth is said to have received special training to handle highly sensitive information. A former palace employee, who requested anonymity, reported that certain documents were transported directly to Windsor Castle, sealed in boxes with royal seals. Sealed boxes and total secrecy? That screams ultra-secret material. I bet even the carriers were afraid to look inside. This transport occurred only on specific occasions, usually tied to political events or crises. Was the Forbidden Book among these documents? Another point that intrigues researchers is the Queen's obsession with protecting royal properties, such as Balmoral Castle in Scotland. This castle, serving as a family refuge, is surrounded by myths and legends. Local historians suggest that part of the Forbidden Book may have been kept there, far from the public eye. Unlike other palaces, Balmoral does not belong to the crown, but to the royal family as private property, making it an ideal location to hide something so sensitive. There is also the Queen's peculiar silence about controversial historical events. A striking example is the relationship between the British monarchy and Nazi Germany before and during World War II. Documents revealed decades later showed that some members of the royal family maintained suspicious ties with Nazi leaders. Could it be that the book contained details of those connections, as well as explanations for the crown's reserved behavior regarding these facts? Over the course of her reign, Elizabeth held countless confidential meetings with prime ministers and royal advisors. Some of those meetings, held in restricted rooms at Buckingham Palace, centered on protecting secrets deemed essential to the survival of the kingdom. An inevitable question arises: did those secrets include the Forbidden Book? One particular incident drew attention in the 1970s, when a group of activists broke into Buckingham Palace. Although the invasion was quickly hushed up by the press, rumors claim that the intruders were trying to access documents stored in the private library. The Queen, known for maintaining her composure even in crises, is said to have ordered immediate security reinforcements after the episode, without ever publicly explaining the reason behind the intrusion. The Queen's reserved behavior during significant events, such as Diana's death in 1997, also fuels theories about the book. While her stance was attributed to protocol, some believe her silence was a way to avoid bringing to light secrets related to the book and the princess. Did Diana know more than she should have? Another fascinating point involves Elizabeth's obsession with the monarchy's religious traditions. As the head of the Anglican Church, she maintained close ties with religious figures, including leaders of churches dating back to the origins of Christianity in England. There is speculation that the Forbidden Book contains records of secret pacts made between the crown and religious leaders to consolidate the monarchy's power over the centuries. However, what most intrigues theorists is how the Queen managed her succession. Before her death in 2022, Elizabeth made significant changes to royal protocols, some of which remain little understood by the public. Was there something she knew that needed to be guarded by Charles, her successor? Elizabeth's silence on the Forbidden Book remained absolute until the end of her life. Even in the face of crises that threatened the monarchy, she never mentioned this mysterious artifact. Was this silence a sign of loyalty, or a way to protect her family from inevitable collapse? Whatever the truth, Queen Elizabeth II took her secrets to the grave, leaving behind a mystery that may never be unraveled. Was the Forbidden Book among the darkest legacies of her reign? When Prince Charles ascended to the throne in 2022 as King Charles III, many believed that a new era would bring significant changes to the British monarchy. Charles, the king who waited longer than the rest of us in a bank queue. And when he finally took over, he received not only the crown but a bunch of secrets. However, for mystery theorists, his rise also marked a new phase in the history of the Forbidden Book. As the direct heir, Charles is believed to have inherited not just the crown, but also the darkest secrets of the royal family, including knowledge about the manuscript passed through generations. Charles's relationship with history has always been marked by his obsession with traditions and spirituality. From a young age, he displayed an unusual fascination with secret societies and philosophical questions, which did not go unnoticed by his critics. During his years as Prince of Wales, Charles sponsored countless restorations of churches, castles, and historic buildings. In some cases, these sites were directly linked to the myths and legends of the British monarchy. Was there a hidden reason for so much interest? In 1984, Charles was photographed visiting the Royal Library at Windsor Palace, where the Forbidden Book was supposedly kept. Although the visit was explained as part of his training as heir, rumors suggest he was inspecting archives related to dynastic matters and the monarchy's secret agreements. During the visit, sealed documents were taken to a private room and examined for hours. What sort of information would require such thorough attention? Charles's association with public figures involved in conspiracy theories also fed suspicions. He maintained contact with controversial historians who argued for the existence of a secret code in the monarchy's history. In 1996, during a lecture on historical architecture, Charles cryptically mentioned that the true history of the British monarchy will never be fully known. That statement was enough to pique the curiosity of researchers and theorists. What did he know? Another issue sparking speculation is Charles's involvement with the Order of St. John, a charitable organization with medieval roots. Though publicly focused on humanitarian work, the order has a past shrouded in mystery, including ties to crusaders and occult practices. There are indications that Charles, as patron of the order, had access to historical documents that may complement the contents of the Forbidden Book. One of the most controversial moments of Charles's life came in the 1990s, when scandals involving his personal life came to light. Amid tensions with Diana, some reports indicate that Charles attended highly secret meetings with Crown advisors. Allegedly, these meetings were not just about his public image, but about strategies to protect sensitive information related to the monarchy. Was the Forbidden Book one of these concerns? After his mother's death, Charles began implementing changes that some deemed unusual. He further restricted access to certain royal properties and strengthened the protection of historical archives in Buckingham Palace. Some staff members were dismissed without explanation, including individuals working in administrative areas connected to the royal archives. What secrets were being safeguarded? Charles also showed a curious interest in the restoration of lesser-known properties, such as Dumfries House, a historic mansion in Scotland that, interestingly, once belonged to an aristocratic lineage with direct ties to the monarchy. During the restoration, a document was found but never revealed to the public. Some speculate that the find may be related to the contents of the Forbidden Book or a clue to its location. Another curious fact is Charles's ambiguous approach to religious and spiritual matters. He has stated that he wants to be defender of faith, in a broader sense that encompasses various beliefs. Theorists suggest that this might be an attempt to dilute the monarchy's traditional role and distance himself from historical secrets contained in the book, possibly tied to the Anglican Church and dubious agreements made in the name of the crown. An emblematic moment occurred during a visit to Windsor Castle in 2023, when Charles was asked by a journalist about the castle's mysteries. He laughed and answered vaguely, "There are many stories in Windsor, but not all of them can be told." Although said in a light-hearted manner, it was widely interpreted as an allusion to the secrets the castle holds. Furthermore, there are records that Charles commissioned a complete review of historical documents kept at the National Archives. During this investigation, certain files were reclassified as confidential by direct order of Buckingham Palace. What kind of information was so sensitive that it needed protection, and how does it connect to the legendary Forbidden Book? Charles's approach as king has been cautious, avoiding discussions about controversial topics linked to the monarchy. Yet his management of royal properties, historical archives, and relationships with religious and charitable organizations raises questions. What does he truly know? Could it be that Charles inherited not only the throne, but also the monarchy's darkest secret? And if so, how long can he keep the book and its contents out of the world's reach? World War II was one of the most challenging periods for the British monarchy. During the years of conflict, Windsor Castle became a safe haven for the royal family, while London was devastated by bombings. However, lesser-known accounts suggest that, in addition to protecting the family and the crown jewels, Windsor also housed a secret of incalculable value: the royal family's forbidden book. With the imminent threat of German invasion, security in the royal castles was greatly reinforced. Historical documents indicate a contingency plan to transport the crown's most valuable items to secret locations. Transporting jewels, vaults, and perhaps a certain book. It seems that war secrets were not just on the battlefields. Curiously, though the jewels were taken to an underground vault at the Bank of England, there are records of additional movements at Windsor Castle, involving locked boxes guarded under armed surveillance. Could these boxes be the key to protecting the mysterious manuscript? One of the most intriguing details involves King George VI, Elizabeth II's father. Although known for his leadership during the conflict, he also bore the burden of family secrets. Rumor has it that George ordered certain documents sealed and sent to a private vault. According to theorists, these documents were parts of the book deemed too dangerous to remain accessible. During the war years, Windsor Castle was the scene of strange activities. Guards reported odd noises coming from seldom used areas, such as subterranean crypts. One unconfirmed report mentions that, in 1942, one of the royal advisors disappeared for days after investigating restricted areas of the castle. When he reappeared, he refused to speak of what had happened and soon requested his resignation. What did he find? The relationship between the royal family and Nazi Germany is also a point of interest. Declassified documents in recent decades revealed that the Duke of Windsor, Elizabeth II's uncle and the former King Edward VIII, maintained close ties with the Nazi regime. Some believe the forbidden book's contents could contain compromising information about secret deals made by the Duke that might have influenced the course of the war. Could the book have been a central piece in hidden negotiations? Another remarkable incident occurred in 1945 when Allied forces invaded the Berghof, Hitler's retreat in the Bavarian Alps. Soldiers reported discovering documents related to the British monarchy, including encoded letters. Although there is no direct evidence linking these findings to the forbidden book, the coincidence aroused suspicion. Was there a connection between the manuscript and the power strategies of both sides in the conflict? Windsor Castle's crypts, many of which have never been opened to the public, remain a focal point of speculation. They are said to have been used not only to conceal the book, but also to hold highly confidential meetings during the war. In 1944, a report from an anonymous staff member mentioned the arrival of foreign individuals at Windsor who participated in secret meetings with members of the royal family. Did they come seeking something, or someone related to the book's contents? Another mystery concerns the figure of the Queen Mother, wife of George VI. During the war, she was seen as the emotional pillar of the monarchy, but there are accounts that she played an active role in safeguarding royal secrets. Theorists claim that the Queen Mother personally oversaw the transfer of the book between secure locations, ensuring it remained out of reach of the Nazis and potential traitors. In 1947, 2 years after the war ended, a private meeting at Windsor Castle drew attention. Present were George VI, a still young Elizabeth, and several royal advisors. The agenda for the meeting was never disclosed, but a historian who studied the records claims it revolved around artifacts essential to the continuity of the monarchy. Could the book have been discussed at this moment as part of the legacy Elizabeth would inherit? Efforts to protect secrets during the war were not limited to the United Kingdom. Parts of the book's content are believed to have been sent to trusted allies in countries such as Canada, which served as a refuge for other royal treasures during the conflict. Why so much concern about safeguarding documents that supposedly had no bearing on the war effort? After the end of World War II, archives from the period were gradually declassified. However, many documents related to the royal family remained off-limits to the public. Among them are reports about Windsor Castle's security measures and the king's personal correspondence. Why do these particular files remain secret? The war ended, yet left an unsettling question. What kind of information or object was so crucial that the monarchy had to hide it at all costs? Is the forbidden book connected to the decisions and alliances that shaped the course of the conflict? While many World War II secrets have been revealed over the decades, the mystery of the forbidden book remains intact. Could it be the key to understanding the true extent of the British monarchy's power and influence during that critical moment? royal family's forbidden book is not just a legend about political secrets or historical conspiracies. It is deeply rooted in theories of occult pacts and dark practices. To some scholars and theorists, the manuscript is more than a historical record. It is a grimoire, a guide to rituals ensuring the British monarchy's power over the centuries. The first mention of a supposed pact involving the royal family dates back to the reign of Queen Elizabeth I in the 16th century. The sovereign, known for her strategic intelligence and dealings with alchemists and astrologers, is said to have established ties with secret societies that promised to strengthen her lineage. Among the figures associated with Elizabeth I was John Dee, the Queen's personal advisor and one of the greatest occultists of his time. Dee, famous for his esoteric practices, is rumored to have compiled information about rituals designed to protect the Tudor dynasty. Could the contents of the Forbidden Book have started with him? However, it is during the reign of King James I, Elizabeth I's successor, that rumors of occult practices intensified. James, fascinated by demonology and magic, wrote the treatise Demonology, detailing his belief in witchcraft and the supernatural. A king writing a book about demons? You can't say he had ordinary hobbies. And if part of that is in the Forbidden Book, it's best not to open it. Some scholars speculate that parts of this treatise were incorporated into the Forbidden Book, including guidelines on how to seal pacts with forces beyond human comprehension. Could that explain the monarchy's concern with keeping the manuscript from the public eye? In the following centuries, the purported use of the book was limited to times of crisis. There are accounts that during the English Revolution in the 17th century, the manuscript was consulted to determine which alliances should be made to ensure the monarchy's restoration. Although there are no official records, letters discovered years later indicate that a close advisor to King Charles II referred to necessary sacrifices to secure the kingdom's stability. One of the most controversial moments involving the book occurred at the end of the 19th century, during Queen Victoria's reign. Though publicly associated with strict moral values, some say Victoria allowed certain advisors to explore occult practices to protect the expansion of the British Empire. A famous case involved Aleister Crowley, the self-proclaimed Great Beast, who allegedly had access to parts of the manuscript. Crowley, known for his connections to secret societies, claimed that the monarchy was the guardian of an ancestral power that should never be disclosed. During the 20th century, rumors took an even darker turn. It is speculated that the Forbidden Book contains references to pacts that ensured Britain's rise as a global power, but at a high price. The monarchy's involvement in wars, colonial exploitation, and controversial alliances would be a direct consequence of these pacts. Theorists assert that the book's contents expose details of rituals linking the crown's power to the fate of millions. A particularly disturbing story is that of Philip Sassoon, a member of Parliament and close friend of the royal family during King George V's reign. Sassoon, descended from one of the empire's most influential families, allegedly wrote in a private diary that he witnessed inexplicable events during private gatherings at Buckingham Palace. This diary disappeared mysteriously after his death, but recovered portions suggest he knew about manuscripts kept in secrecy, whose reading was denied even to those closest. In the 1950s, during Elizabeth II's reign, interest in the Forbidden Book is said to have intensified. A British academic investigation into Victorian-era secret societies was abruptly halted. The archives, which included references to occult texts guarded by the monarchy, were seized under the justification of national security. Why would the government intervene in an academic study? Another controversial point arose with the monarchy's alleged involvement in modern events that defy explanation. Some theorists point to crises such as Edward VIII's abdication, the scandals surrounding Princess Margaret, and even Diana's death as potentially linked to decisions based on the book's contents. In all these cases, the idea of necessary sacrifices recurs as a persistent theme. The Forbidden Book's connection with secret societies remains constant. There are rumors it passed through the hands of figures like the Knights Templar and the Rosicrucians before being incorporated into the monarchy's secrets. More recently, some speculate that the manuscript is tied to the Bilderberg Group, an organization accused of steering global politics. The presence of royal family members at these meetings may be an attempt to reinforce ancient pacts. While many doubt the existence of a book with such impact, the history of the British monarchy is filled with gaps, inexplicable decisions, and well-guarded secrets. Could the Forbidden Book be the piece that connects all these seemingly disconnected events? What really lies in this manuscript's pages? Ancient pacts, buried crimes, or instructions for maintaining a power that transcends generations. As long as it remains hidden, the mystery of its contents will continue to haunt those daring enough to seek answers. The echoes of the British monarchy's past still resonate through the corridors of its castles, fueling speculation about the existence of the Forbidden Book. Fact or legend, its narrative reflects an idea that haunts any powerful dynasty: the fear that the secrets buried beneath the symbols of power may one day be exposed to the light. If the book truly exists, its guardianship is not just a historical duty, but a responsibility laden with implications that could alter the course of modern history. This story is just one piece, and one day, perhaps we'll see the whole puzzle. If it made you think as well, subscribe and hit the like button. It helps the channel grow. Don't forget to share. After all, more voices mean more discoveries.